So in today's video, we're flipping the script. I'm going to be interviewed, and Ken, who's normally behind the camera, is going to ask me the top questions that people ask in Google about Boise, Idaho.
So I went to google.com,
Right.
And I searched Boise, Idaho, and here are the top questions.
Let's go.
Is Boise, Idaho a good place to live?
I think so. I think a lot of people think so. It's grown like crazy. People have come in from all over the country. You know, we have people coming from the East Coast, but mostly from California, and people love it. They love Boise. They love the cleanliness. They love the easy access to everything, not just in Boise and around town, but getting into the foothills, into the mountains to go camping, fishing. It's all right there, so people are loving it.
The outdoors people love it.
The outdoors and the indoors people.
Both.
I mean, yeah.
And when people say Boise, I'm going to go off script. It's just a short bit here. People are out Boise. When people think Boise, they think just the city of Boise. But Boise's right next to Meridian. It's close to Nampa. I mean, these are the three biggest cities in the entire state. Yeah,
Boise, Meridian, Nampa, and then you have Eagle, Star that all fill in. So I think when people search Boise, they get more than just the city of Boise.
I agree. Okay, next question. Is Boise, Idaho expensive to live?
So I've gotten this question a lot, and before it wasn't. But I think now it's like the median house price is over $500,000, and so for some it is expensive to live. But if you're coming from a market like, you know, a California market where your 1,700 square foot home is going for $8 or $1 million, and you're coming to an average price of $550 or $530 now, I think it is, then it's not expensive. But I think people are surprised at how cheap things are still. Like, food is pretty relevant, I would say. I mean, you came from California.
Way to throw me under the bus. Thanks. No, I'm just kidding.
But I think insurance is hugely different. It's a lot less expensive. Car registration's way less. And so people, when they're doing their pros and cons list of coming to Idaho, they are just like factoring kind of what they think they know of what it could be. But when you get here, you're not driving as much, you know, and you're not sitting in traffic as much.
Electricity bills are beautiful.
Yes.
They're a thing of beauty.
Well, and the water.
Yes.
Especially if you're coming from Arizona. Like, we had someone come from Arizona, and they're shocked at how cheap it was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're in a desert. They don't have water.
Yeah.
We have plenty of water here in Idaho. So
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. Okay. Next question on Google is, what is the racial makeup of Boise, Idaho?
Of Boise, or just of
I guess just go just Boise.
Okay, so I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think right around 90% is white, Caucasian.
Okay.
And then the other 10% is going to be African American, Latin American, and then, you know, everything in between. So
did you know that there's a big Indian population here? Not huge, but there's a decent size from India.
I did not know that.
Micron, because of Micron.
Oh.
A lot of the technology stuff.
Okay.
There's a lot of them that get jobs here. They work at Micron, and they live locally, and they're actually growing, and they're getting a little, they got...
Well, there's a lot of markets, Indian markets around in that Boise area. Yeah, and I don't know, it's cool. Like, everyone... You know, I get comments on YouTube about, hey, you know, I'm this ethnicity, you know, would I feel welcome here? And I think this is probably the most welcoming state for anyone of other race,
especially this area.
Yeah,
my wife's Mexican. She doesn't feel nothing.
Yeah,
you know, there's the whole new Chinese market that they're building over there, so that's blowing up, and it's the demographics are definitely changing.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
Cool. Next question: why is Boise, Idaho so popular?
Well, I think we jumped up on everyone's radar because we're not crazy like California. Nuts, man. We didn't have riots. So when everything was going on across the country, Idaho was just like, what's everyone's problem? You know, like, can't get along, you know?
So it's not because of the potatoes.
No.
Okay.
But no, I mean, it's a family valued area. Everyone works, you know, not saying that no one else works hard across the nation, but there's a hardworking folk here, you know, get up and get our stuff done. And at the end of the day, we just want to be with our family, and that's important. We are pro Second Amendment. So you can go into a gas station, a grocery store, and you're going to see people carrying. It's open carry. So I think that is another, you know, freedom. Bottom line, people feel like they have their freedom here in Idaho.
Yep, I 100% agree with that. That's one of the reasons why we moved here. So, and not only that, a lot of things that you just said, but honestly, the people here. It's old school home values. It's family values. People, the family core is so important here still. You know, the husband, wife, the kids, we take care of the family, and you know, that whole family thing. And then just being kind to everybody else. Right. It's like people opening doors for each other. It's just a different vibe here. And I think once people visit, then they're like, I want to live there, you know?
Yeah. And they're all right now, everyone's like asking their friends who moved here a year and a half ago, hey, you know, is it still okay? Like, yeah, I love it.
All right, next question.
Okay.
How cold does it get in Boise, Idaho?
It snows. So it's cold enough to snow, specifically wise, or, you know, I'd say, I don't know, low 30s it can get down to, you know, maybe the teens. Like January is by far our coldest month.
Okay.
But winter is definitely the shortest season of the year, which is awesome. November, December, January kind of is like the main winter months. But it can get down to the teens overnight and then warm up to the high 20s. But it's very seldom, but January would be the month that I would do that.
A lot of snow or a little bit of snow?
A little bit of snow in the valley. And that's a great question because a lot of people ask like, hey, I've never driven in snow. Am I going to be buried? You know, if I move up there, you're not. I mean, you're from California. I mean,
no.
We do get snow and it will stick some days, but for the most part, it's gone.
It's enough to have fun with, to go out, build a snowman, and then a couple days later it's gone. And that's what you get. There's no being snowed in though here in the valley near Boise. That just doesn't.
Have you heard the term banana belt?
No.
Okay. So we're kind of in this banana belt where you know how the foothills kind of wrap around like a shape of a banana?
Oh, okay.
So that keeps the snow up into the mountains and north of the Treasure
higher
Valley.
valleys up there.
Yes.
Oh.
And we're kind of a high desert, you know, but it's weird because we just don't get that snow that everyone thinks we get.
Everything north of Boise really does get the snow though.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what when people think Idaho, oh, they're up there. They get a lot of snow.
Yeah.
You know, and plus what you see in the commercials and all that stuff.
Yeah, so. People who are like, we move people down here from Coeur d'Alene all the time who've moved up to Coeur d'Alene from California because they're like, oh my gosh, it's postcard pretty. It is actually gorgeous. But they're like, winter lasts forever. You know, like this isn't fun.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing that. Okay. Here's the last one. Does Boise have a homeless problem?
I would say homeless being on what you see in California, what you see on the streets, no. But I think every city does have a homeless problem. But if you're driving around town, you're not going to see tents. You're not going to see just people camping right by a hotel. You're not going to have any of that. You might see one or two sporadically, random, like, why is that person alone right there? Like, But no, and I think there's a huge there's a lot of great organizations here in Boise that really have strict laws for people, or not, shouldn't say laws, strict rules in order to be part of that program. And a lot of people who are generally homeless will go to that shelter or to that facility and abide by their rules. So I don't know. Plus it gets cold and it's not California temps year round, you know, you're not getting a tan.
It's tough to be homeless when it's 25 degrees outside. It just is, you know. And, I mean, like you said, that's not super often, but it's often enough to where if you were homeless, that would be a little tough. But I think more importantly on what you were talking about, because I've actually driven by the shelter and the programs that they have. A lot of them are there and they're getting the help they need and they're getting taken care of. It's great.
Yeah.
They have such a good program. You would think that like California would be like, hey, Idaho, what are you guys doing? Maybe we could borrow some of your ideas.
Well, if you go into a shelter and then someone in the shelter or someone sees you panhandling or you're kicked out. You can't be part of that program anymore.
Oh, okay.
And so you have the career panhandlers that we all know about, but people who are generally in need, and there's resources, and people take them up on that.
Homeless to me and panhandling, they kind of go one and the same, but I don't think I've ever, and I'm not spending a lot of time in downtown Boise, but the whole Treasure Valley, I don't know if I've seen a panhandler. I've seen homeless, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've ever seen anybody standing on a corner asking for things.
They're out there in Boise. They're out there.
Maybe more in downtown area?
Not even in downtown, but just more like off-ramps by the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
You'll have someone sometimes down here. I've seen one person down here on Eagle Road in Fairview. Like, they weren't panhandling. They were just selling flowers. I've seen
See,
that.
but
So that's different.
To me, like you're out there and you're trying to earn money. I love that.
Yeah.
So that is the top 6. We gave you a bonus one in there. That's the top 6 questions asked on Google about Boise, Idaho.
Love it.
All right. So if you guys like this video, we'll do the next 5 questions, or 4 or 5 or 6. I don't know. We'll just do what you guys want. So just leave it down in the comments.
Leave a question in the comments. Let's answer it.
Oh, I like that too. Leave some questions in the comments. Okay.
If you are interested in making a move to the Boise, Idaho area, just go to our website, www.goingidaho.com, and start looking for all the different houses that are available for sale here in the Boise, Meridian, Eagle, Idaho area. Or if you're on social media, it's easier for you to connect that way. We're on social media too. Wherever you are, we are too. Just send us a DM and we'll respond and get you connected one way or the other. All right, so that's a wrap for today's video. If you want to see more, just click right here. And until next time, go Idaho.